Hey YouTube, this is Okie Prepster here. I'm actually just doing my first video. I'm going to start a small series of them. Wanted to kind of look at a common sense approach to prepping. I think that there's a lot of great information out there on preparation mindedness, and wanted to just take an opportunity to give some of my thoughts on what a good plan of action might be, or some certain things that people who have never been exposed to prepping before might be asking themselves, might want to know, what should I do? Where's to start? And but first, what I want to do is, as you're looking through YouTube, especially, there's a lot of great resources out there, and I'll put the links below. But some of the ones that I found that I really like, that give some good perspective, but also good information, are Southern Prepper One. Has been really great, and the Patriot Nurse, as well as I got my own state here. Okie Prepper is also a really great resource. If you happen to live in Oklahoma, like I do, then there's a great reservoir information also for Oklahoma itself. But this is going to be broken down in a couple of different parts. But I think a lot of people have begun to see some of the information that's out there, and whether it's National Geographic or the Learning Channel, where shows that are going on there, and they're kind of, let's be honest, a bit sensationalized. I think some of the programmers have an obligation in their mindset to give as much sensation and entertainment value as possible, maybe a little bit shorter on the education aspect of it. And what I think, some of them are very good, and some of them great points to make, and others obviously are maybe not as pertinent to where you are at, or where I'm at. And so just kind of wanted to give an overview of that. But as you look at prepping, it's kind of like there's a few things that I think we can understand from what we see on YouTube, but also on TV, and that is, it crosses economic spectrums. Basically, you have people who are very affluent, but you have a lot of resources, are taking the time to be prepared, as well as people who, like myself, like many of us, live on a budget, and we're having to do what we can with what we have. I think it also crosses political spectrums. You have people who are very dedicated to this, or very staunchly that, or might kind of be ambivalent, not anything at all, um, but they're still participating in a preparation mindset. And so I think it's very important to realize that this isn't something that only one demographic does. This is something that a lot of people are very concerned about. And I think it also crosses geographic considerations. This isn't something that just Hicks in the South do, going up to the hills with their guns and God, and okay, we're gonna fight off any intruders. This is something that you find in the Pacific Northwest, in the Southwest, all along Mid-America, down in the South, as well as in the Northeast. You have people that are taking the initiative to be prepared. And it crosses uh, basically social strata, if you will, the whole spectrum of different elements of societal brackets, if you will. You've got, this isn't just people who, they like to sometimes pigeonhole people as the uneducated, the uninformed, and that's so far from the truth, and it's disparaging, and it's just wrong. And you have a lot of people who are very aware, very educated. They've educated themselves about the information. Like myself, I've been in the supply chain and manufacturing industry for well over 20 years. I have an MBA, and that is part of what's helped me to see beyond what you hear glossed over in main news or outlets. But there are people from every other strata as well, or every other background, or every other educational experience, that are just, if not more so, aware and prepared. And so I think being able to understand that this isn't something that is kind of a just off the reservation, so to speak, experience. This goes everywhere, because it's a human experience. And I think the chances are, I think a lot of us have heard of 7 degrees of separation, where you're only 7 people removed from anyone in the world. Well, that world's getting smaller, and I think it's probably more like 4 people, 4 degrees of separation. I think when it comes to prepping and preppers, a lot of us are even much more close than that to people in our lives, our social circles, church, work, schools, communities, where you have a lot of people that are really aware of this and they're participating. And I think not everybody is as open about it because they're trying to be a little bit circumspect. They're trying to make sure they protect themselves. But I think if we really honestly understood how pervasive this is, how widespread uh, people's attitudes and opinions are about this, I think that would deliver a huge amount of encouragement. I mean, that's part of the reason why I'm wanted to do this video. This first part is because we come from everywhere. This isn't an isolated event. This is simply American citizens who realize it's time to be what we claim to be, and that is informed, engaged, and proactive citizens. And as we look at what's going to be happening, we're going to, for the next part, we're going to end up going into what are the motivations that people have to prepare. But wanted to take the first opportunity here just to introduce myself, and hope you like it. And we'll look at seeing you guys in part 2. Thanks.